I'm Michelle Borel. This is Brand New 6, or should I say BY6. Our special guest today is Narda Mohammed. She's a life and soul coach, and we're going to have a lot of heart-to-heart today. So we're dropping the PowerPoints. We're not having everything as we would usually plan, and we're really opening ourselves up to receive all of the goodness that we have in store as we talk about forgiveness, unwavering faith, appreciating your ancestors, as well as Soulspection. Basically, we're dealing with the heart and soul on today's session of Brand New. So stay with me as I get ready to introduce you to Narda Mohammed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Narda, welcome. So Narda, could you tell us a bit more about yourself and a bit more about what you do?
Oh, wow. Basically, my work is based in spirituality, which is love. God is love. So I'm a life coach. I'm a hypnotherapist. I study anything holistic or out of this world that is connected to the heart of God. And my work is based on helping people truly heal, get to the roots of their issues, whether it be traumatic issues from deep in their childhood, in their mother's womb. That's why, hence the hypnosis in terms of hypnotherapy. And so I help people conversationally and through deeper soul work to get into the aspects of themselves that is unseen or unknown. And so I do work with people all across the world via Skype. And whenever in a certain country or something, I work with a person in person. But yeah, basically my work is that. It's helping people get to their deeper selves, to remove any blockages, heal any ancestral, deep soulful work, to go deeper in themselves, to really be a better version of themselves in which God has created them to be. So that is basically who I am and my work. My life story is a whole different 3-hour-long conversation. But yeah, born and raised in Trinidad, living in the US since I was 18. I started writing for the Trinidad Garden when I was 25. I wrote as an inspirational columnist, and then I dove into life coaching, and then one thing is hypnosis and alternative healing from Chinese medicine go back. And yeah, so it's really, really in-depth work. Yeah.
Awesome. And could you tell us some of the places that your work would have carried you?
Oh my gosh, Denmark, Italy, France, Dubai, Canada, all across the US.
Yeah.
I think that's some of it, but that is just in person. And like over Skype have been China, New Zealand, Australia, Japan, some countries like Mauritius, countries that Singapore. I could just name it on my website. I have most of them, but yeah, this Trini accent have gone across the entire world.
Yes. So today we're talking about forgiveness, unwavering faith, Soulspection, appreciating your ancestors, as well as soul exploration. And I think the first thing that we could start with, undecided, be it forgiveness or appreciating your ancestors. But the reason I'm more guided to start with forgiveness first, because I think with that, it's like a block anytime you have this ball of unforgiveness within you. So long as we get over that part with forgiveness, I think then we could move mountains and talk about anything else.
I agree. I totally agree. Yeah, even in my own life, I had to dive into some serious forgiveness with my dad. Even my mom having, she died when I was 8, So in my own personal life, I had to deal with forgiveness in a big way. So forgiveness is basically, or unforgiveness is a huge block in our finances, the way we show up on earth, how we express our gifts, how we, be in our relationships. It's connected to everything, whether it be a block, So forgiveness is a big topic.
Yes. And like yourself, Narda, as you know, I had to definitely do a lot of forgiveness in my life. And I think if it's one thing that will help anyone win, it is learning to just let go and forgive. As I often say, forgiveness is not between you and the perpetrator, but you and your creator, which means that it's more of a soulful level. It's how you feel on the inside. I know there's some who like the exercise of calling the person who did you wrong, call them on the phone and speaking to them. I've heard Tony Robbins speak about it. And at the same point in time, I am not a believer in that, because I believe you don't need
Same thing.
to necessarily go to the person and say, I forgive you. It's not a physical showing, it's an internal feeling, you know?
Definitely.
And it just means if you're in the space with someone, like, you're cool, you're calm, you're good. But it doesn't mean that you now have to physically try for this person to be your friend again and give them readmittance into your life. You know, so again, I want to stress very importantly that forgiveness is not about you and the perpetrator, but it's between you and your creator. It's really how you feel on the inside. And looking at the story of Job, with what his friends would have done unto him, God said that after Job prayed for his friends, he was given double. So sometimes the portion that we're really able to receive, we prevent ourselves from really being able to grasp it, because we hold on to things that we're really supposed to let go of. You know, and it's understanding that all things work for the greater good for those who love it the Lord.
Exactly.
You know, so I want us to delve deeper into forgiveness before we go any further.
Yes. Yeah, and something I must add to that, I firmly don't believe that you need to meet the person physically to be able to forgive them. And now forgiveness is not only about the other person, we have a lot of self-forgiveness that we got to do. Because a lot of times our perception or idea of how a situation may have gone down, or what people may have thought, or how even like, if God forgive me, God is love. And most of the times the unforgiveness that we hold within ourselves is our own perception of it, our own human judgment. And I tell clients all the time, it's like, you can do something as simple as you start to pray, you ask the Holy Spirit, you know, whatever religion or spiritual belief system, just God creator, and you call for the angels and you speak soul to the soul of the individual. Because now, for instance, a person may have died, so you can basically interact with the soul, like say the Holy Spirit, your divine team, that person's divine team, the Holy Spirit with that person, and you speak soul to soul with that soul, and you say, you know, speak heartfully the things that you can, even if the person is still alive, you can speak to the person. And you say everything that you can say to the human self, because remember, with the human self is the ego that is presented first and foremost. And the ego could lash out. So forgiveness, there's a whole different realm that we were not taught, and we don't even know that we can tap into and we can tune into. So forgiveness in terms of a person who's alive or someone who have gone. And remember, the person who have gone, who has transitioned into the light, back to God, back to the creator in whatever form, in whatever, you know, our belief systems may be, if there's going through a period of judgment or whatever. That's what the idea we have of the individual is just an imprint. It's not necessarily the person anymore. So we can, and most importantly, a lot of the things that we do hold and we think God is judging us is our own judgment that we say against God.
Correct.
So forgiveness is self-forgiveness and also forgiveness to another person. So yeah, there's a whole different opening in terms of forgiveness that we can do for other people, that we don't necessarily need them, the human self, to accept it.
And you know, that's the thing. Very often you hear persons in speaking, they say, you know, I'm not even really mad with them. I'm mad at myself. How did I allow this to happen to me? You know, so many times it goes even beyond trying to forgive the person. It's about forgiving yourself, you know, being fair to yourself.
Yourself,
you know. So that's a big thing with forgiveness.
And something I have to say is that sometimes we may carry layers of our perception or idea or the meaning that we give certain things, right? For instance, you might say, well, you point, like, you know, they have the saying, you point the finger and the individual is really this finger back at you.
Yes.
So you look to see, what are you projecting? Who are you projecting it on? And it's really, if it's that person or it's really yourself.
Yeah.
So, and even if it's yourself, forgive yourself, because remember, things that we deem as mistakes is actually life lessons. It's experiences that came into our life that is actually, you can draw a lot of positive meaning from. It can be the stepping stone to something even more magnificent, or something more heart expansive or mind expansive. So it's instead of we judging ourselves in this human limitation, like, why did I do this? Why did I get into that relationship? Or why was I this way? Why did I was in this particular position? Why allow myself? That can be a huge elevation for you, a huge graduation on your path. So it's really, how do we see it, and what kind of meaning we choose to give any given thing. So, you know, and then all this time you're in this human emotion, and you're like deep down, and you're beating yourself over the head for years, and you're dragging it forward, and you realize, oh, it was an opportunity to elevate. It's an opportunity to go deeper into your heart and go deeper into your connection with divine. So again, perception and the meaning we give to anything.
Yes. There was a book I was reading, I don't remember the name of it, but when it was speaking about forgiveness, it was explaining that many times, just as you said, it's our perception. So it being our perception when persons think of life hereafter. I think it was, I don't remember the name of the book, I wish I did. But it was saying when, it was talking basically about the person when they traveled and they saw the depths of hell, and then they went to heaven and they realized what hell was. It was really the unforgiveness that you had for yourself and for others. It was your judgment.
Right.
Because they were explaining God is love, so his desire is that we are with him. And every time we hold on to things, we keep ourselves from that. I think as we now segue into appreciating our ancestors, there's some who, as you mentioned, hold on to persons that may have gone, and they hold on to things that this person may have done in the earthly realm, and they're unable to let go. They're so angst by whatever was done or probably not done that they hold on to that. But part of appreciating your ancestors, I think it's about being light with people. Everyone makes mistakes, nobody is perfect, but it's about being light with yourself and being light with people and being as soft as you can as possible. Letting go of control and allowing people to just be. Forgiveness, as L.A. Saunders is now saying, she said, forgiveness is the key that opens the door to infinite love, abundance, and gratitude. And that's exactly what we're saying. It's about your infinite self. And I love how she brought in thankfulness and gratitude, because as I always say, anytime you feel like you're sinking, start thanking. When you focus on what you're thankful for, you'll find out, as Oprah Winfrey wrote, that there's even more that you could give thanks for. And I think when thinking of those who would have gone before us, who are no longer in the earthly realm, our ancestors, we have to be appreciative for the battles that they fought, whether we believe they fought those battles good or not. One thing that helped me to wake up quite a lot was trying to trace my history as far back as possible and going to the different areas. The Borels being from Cedrus and being the first French planters, and Charles Didier Borel, going to the Borel house where my first ancestors would have been. And that for me was a big eye-opener, and speaking to some of the persons in Cedrus who were also Borels and having pictures that nobody has. Matter of fact, gotta show you all this. This is awesome. This is an old
That is such a privilege.
Passport. This is the passport for Francis Borel and the deed for Cedrus. Right? As you could see in the family history in terms of the French planters, profession, agriculturist. So all the joke I make on radio, Borel could plant, all the joke I'm making about can't plant, Borel could plant, trust me, that just kicks in. But this for me was amazing, because anytime I try to think of what qualities may naturally be in me, I think of my ancestors and what they did and what they were about. And there are some traits that I have within myself and I realized, that's the Borel in me. Or I could say, that's the king in me, or the Brown in me, or the Foster in me. The good traits and the bad traits. Because when you're able to go through it, then you're able to realize what you need more of or less of. The Borels, for example, they were very generous. When you check the history, the house that is occupied today, it's actually occupied by someone who was adopted by one of the Borel brothers who didn't have.
This is Cedrus? In Cedrus? Wow.
Yes. And she takes care of the graves of all the Borels who have gone before, who are buried in Cedrus.
Wow. That's incredible, Michelle.
Yes.
Because not many of us have the privilege or the honor to even get that back. Because me, my heritage too, they made up names at the border when they were coming in, just misspelled all these different things.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that is incredible.
And you see, the thing about it, what I was able to get from that, like for example, anytime I think of certain qualities, I realize, okay, this may be the Borel or the brown and me. Sorry, I was trying to mute Candice's mic so I can get Narda again in the spotlight. So with that, sorry, Candice. Yeah, so with that, there was another part of the history in terms of the Borels loved gambling and they loved women, right? So as a result of that, the land, although they had majority holding of the land in Cedros and they were considered Cedros royalty, a lot of the land went because of their love for gambling and the love for women. So they gambled the land and gave some portions to women.
Wow.
You know? And some of them were tricksters. Like one of the first doctors in the Borel family, they sent him to London to study medicine. And he didn't want to come back. So every time they sent money for him to come back, he would instead use the money to spend more time in London. And they eventually
I think that's where you got your traveling bug from.
So and they're like, and when you think of it, for them to even come here, they obviously are travelers, right? And they had to physically go to get him. They stopped sending him money and they physically sent somebody to go and bring him back. And the unfortunate thing about that, Borel, is when he did come back, he died. So the photo that I have with that, it is a photo that was taken at a funeral and very soon after would have been his funeral, you know? So as Ellie Saunders said, gratitude to the Borel men for the abundance they gave to the women. Yes!
Empowering
we love them. You know, but when I think of it and I trace from that area of it, and then I think of my grandfather who had this burning desire to open a toy store for children because he felt children should have toys year round instead of just one time for the year, you know? I realized, that's where it came from. And I am very much like that. I just have this fondness for children that is beyond words. You know, no child on my street passes me by without saying, Auntie! You know, and that's something I pride myself on. Matter of fact, I used to teach at a preschool for free, you know, because I saw it as a labor of love and I wanted to help my friend, but more importantly, the children. You know, so as they're like, that's the Borel. And on my mom's side, you have the King family. And the King family are actually related by some grapevine, something I'm not sure how, to Martin Luther King Jr. So every time I'm ready to fight for somebody's rights and work, I have a dream. And they're like, that's where it comes from. And then you have Rudy King, my cousin, who is the very first pan man in America to play the pan, and he was arrested for it. And they later gave him a posthumous award that the president gave to my grandma on his behalf after he died. So anytime I say, okay, that's the rebel in me, I was like, all right, cool down, King. Not right now. So, you know, you're thankful as Leslie shared, Ellie Saunders. She said, you have gratitude for the abundance that they have given you, for the qualities they have given you. Because even those not so nice ones, you might need at some point in your life. You never know when, you know, but give thanks to all things work for the good. So in your work, Narda, what have you seen in terms of appreciating ancestors and so forth? How has that benefited persons that you've worked with?
Well, yeah. You know, it's quite interesting because remember, a person will come to me when there's an issue. So mainly when it comes to ancestors, it's ancestral healing that is needed, where it's been something like a block being presented, where it came down the family line. Well, in religion, we like to call it a ancestral curse, but it's not necessarily a curse. Again, it's a perception, right?
Yes.
It's like what perspective you choose to look at it, but it's actually a pattern or an imprint that comes down the generational line. So in terms of my work, what I would, you know, and I love the appreciation, but mainly when it comes down is that people discuss and what shows up unconsciously and quite subconscious is the blockages, that the patterns that comes down, that whether it be alcoholism or whether it be drug abuse, whether it be infidelity, whether it be hitting a wall in their lives, trying to figure something out, and then you realize it's something their grandfather, when they do enough digging, or even in a soul hypnosis, what comes forward is like a grandfather used to have the issue. And so that is, in terms of my work, what comes forward. It's not necessarily appreciation. I love the fact that I love everything that you've said is celebrating, so which I will joyously adopt, because after a person deal with the issue or the root pattern of the ancestral, it's nice to simmer a little bit in the energy of appreciation of the ancestors. So what mainly my work is, it deals with the clearing and the healing and the bridging that gap in terms of love and acceptance, mainly acceptance. Not, I say acceptance, but not acceptance in the word, but acceptance in your whole heart. Like I accept what happened. So basically that's how it shows up in my work. Not necessarily, but I am gonna joyously adopt the appreciation part. And
you will.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, but remember, when a person come because it's an issue. It's something that they can't really pin their finger on. So, and then sometimes in a soul hypnosis, they go back into, seeing a grandparent or somebody or some generation behind have had the issue. So, that's the answer to your question.
Right. Beautiful. As you mentioned the blockages and so forth, what were some of the main things that you would have seen in terms of blocks that persons would have had in terms of ancestral?
Okay, let me give you an example. Like, for instance, I have a client. She's very well known. She's a TED Talk speaker.
She's a
lovely, amazing soul. But something that showed up, she's a TED Talk.
TED Talk speaker,
and she owns a consulting. She owns a company, consulting, and she's an amazing person. And she's from the East Indian background, so her family is literally from India. So all the cultural programming and limitations that comes as being a woman in terms of that. But she was somewhat, despite she speaks in front of thousands of people, she was afraid of diving deeper in terms of the business owner side of it, of owning a business, in terms of really taking on that and that responsibility or the fullness of shining in that light. So in her session, she went back in terms of her grandfather. Her grandfather was a very prominent businessman in India, and he had lost a lot of money. So that kind of habitually came down onto her family line in terms of seeing something. So even a child, as a child, have seen that subconsciously, that kind of embeds in your subconscious. So, it gets embedded there, whether through observation.
Is this something that is mysteriously passed down, or is it a habit that is learned from generation to generation?
It's learned. Okay, so you remember there's something in her particular case. There's some, because the ancestral is just her grandfather. It was like a great grandparent and even deeper. But you remember there's a saying that you learn what you live.
Yes. So
children absorb and pick up by learning and observation. So that's why it's so important, the conversation. And a child to the age of 7, they are most absorbent in terms of programming through the environment and through what their parents are saying, what the discussion is, information from the environment.
And they say 7 is the age of accountability.
So like seeing a struggle that, observing a struggle with an elderly person or a person who is in a form of authority.
Right.
And the issue. So then that is a programming that, that is a meaning that a person put into their being. Okay, this is how it is, and this is how it's going to be subconsciously. You're not conscious of it. So you think that, then the world is like this, because you remember your world is your family setting up until a certain point. So you are given an example of how the world is by what you observe in your family setting. And then you go forward and you live it out subconsciously. And then subconsciously you believe something different. So what I've also found is that a lot of clients have a conscious belief like, yes, I can be an amazing business leader. I can be this, I can be that. But subconsciously, that programming that is behind, because because your parents, you come down, say ancestral. Your grandparents used to say something like, oh, what's the dear parents? All these different things they have said, and money don't grow on trees. You gotta work hard for money, and then you're like, oh my gosh, well, if that is too easy. I guess that is not a path to go. And usually God is guiding us to the path of least resistance. I'm not saying it doesn't require hard work, but it may be joyful hard work. So it's like the programming. That's just to give an example of the programming that comes down. So one thing is you seeing it with your own eyes. If you observe a person in a authority, a grandparent, a parent go through something. Yes. Hearing, seeing, feeling. And remember, we are sensitive beings. We are children of the Most High God. So we also sensing spiritually. And we don't really realize how we are absorbing all of this as well. So that is basically in terms of how it has shown up. Now, I can give you stories of even deeper, but it's like to tap into some serious things, even great grandparents and that kind of thing. So yeah, that is to give you a real life experience of what someone is that I worked with actually within the past, I would say 7-8 months, that experience. And so it would help her to see that she's not going to be that version of herself, and she saw what is the rooting of why her grandfather had that experience, and then therefore she commits to shifting and changing. So awareness is a big part of it. So being aware. Yeah.
Narda is basically making the subconscious conscious and being aware of it, as you would have said. And in terms of some work that you would have to do, now that you're conscious of it, what are some of these steps that somebody would need to take to then work on that?
Okay, so it's such an interesting thing because the power of the word and what you feel. So sometimes we say something, we don't really realize that we have a profound power of what we say, what we exude out of ourselves. We are speaking that into being. Another thing is feeling. What you're saying and what you believe is, you have to change your belief system. Now, your belief is only something you've been thinking over and over again. So it formulated into a pattern, a belief system. So you begin forming, this is what the work really is. So you have to keep telling yourself, and feeling it as you're telling. Make it up if you have to. Imagination, bring in imagination and pretend the feeling, because most times we dim our own light. We, like, for instance, you might say, Narda, you're amazing, and and I might be like, oh, well, thank you, and vice versa. And someone else might be able to see your light than you first, because remember, we have lived the struggle, we have lived the mistakes with our human experience for growth and development. We have lived it all. So we have our own personal judgment while we work on it, right? So I would say the most simplistic ways for a person is to commit to change and observe your thought system. Observe how you're really feeling about things. Be authentically aware of what you're putting out. What are you feeling for yourself? No, only you know this. Only you know what you're thinking and what you're feeling. Now, someone could be, let me just side note. Sometimes you might feel like, okay, if you have a special needs child, or even a very intuitive child, a very spiritually sensitive kid, and you're like, why is this kid acting out? But that kid is actually feeling what you're having inside yourself. There's no barriers. Like autistic children, they're acting out, and and you're like, and you're trying to put on a really good face. They see beyond the face. They're feeling energy. They're feeling emotion. They're feeling what you're feeling there. So that's why God gives a lot of parents these kind of children to teach them as well. They're great teachers. But yeah, coming back to how you can shift that is the watching your thoughts, watching your emotions. What are you putting your energy into, your focus into, and commit to change it. Speaking out, a dear friend said to me a while ago, God didn't think things into being. God spoke it into being. So, and it's so lovely. That really touched me there, because sometimes we pray in our mind, but I think the most profound way of praying is actually speaking it out loud. Yes, and because there's a power to it, and anybody who to say, you don't speak it out, the enemy is gonna hear it. Let the enemy hear it, and that vibration, that energy that comes from your heart. So, long story short, and I can talk about this for like at least an hour, but you watch your thought, what are you feeling, what are you putting into certain focus in terms of what the topic, whether it be what energy are you putting out in your emotions. So sometimes a person might say, yes, I'm gonna be a millionaire, but do you really believe it? Are you feeling it? Are you feeling it as though it's already done, the finished work of Christ? Like right now, Jesus, it's already done.
Yeah, it is
from finished. The time we say something, it's already created in the heavens.
Yes,
it's done. Coming back, that's the unwavering faith. I kind of diving into unwavering faith already, but So it's watching your thoughts and watching what you're feeling and what you're putting your energy. And a lot of people who are into the law of attraction, which was a very helpful thing for me 10 years ago, learning about those things is that it's not just thinking and writing things down, but feeling it, like feeling the gratitude.
Yes.
As L.A. Saunders said, the gratitude. That is so important. It's a big shifter of energy, shifter of vibe, feeling grateful for that there's a roof over your head, or feeling grateful that you have all your teeth in your mouth, something so simple, but feeling grateful nonetheless. That is a huge one.
Even at this time period, there are many persons who say, okay, so many changes, so many things happening. And at the same point in time, what I think is, if you're constantly striving to learn, if you're constantly in a state of gratitude, then what change is it really? If you have constantly been trying to discipline yourself, there are those who always have to be out and they're about and whatever else. And as I like to say, if you can't discipline yourself, then life will discipline you.
Right.
So if you were trying your best, as the word says, we must strive, we must aim for perfection. It doesn't mean that we're perfect, but we must aim for it. And as you're rightly saying, in terms of watching your thoughts, watching your words, watching your feeling, what vibration are you putting out into the world, and those who were on brand you before, one thing that you would realize being a constant from the first brand you to even right now, it is the importance of your thoughts, your words, and the actions to go with it, because right intention plus right action will give you right manifestation. And I think this now would give us the opportunity to move sweetly into Soulspection, because we dealt with the forgiveness part of it. We understand the appreciation of ancestors, and also for those who may have some forgiving to do with regards to ancestors, those who were there before us, how we can get rid of those blockages that may be in the way, and ensuring that we challenge our perception to do better and to think better and to forgive, to be open, to be loving, to be kind, to be filled with thankfulness, and say it like you mean it. Matter of fact, mean it, believe it, as they would say, think it, act it, and you will become it. They never lied,
Exactly. And in doing,
children are great
in doing all of this. Yeah, exactly. And they're great manifestors. They manifest easily. They're so natural in terms of it. And doing this work, it's so important. It's not just for ourselves, but it's the next generation won't be, as you so beautifully put it, the appreciation, you infusing anything that is seen negative or deemed difficult, transforming that energy out of appreciation and love. And you're telling your ancestors, I see you a womanizer, I see that you are a giver, in whatever form or fashion, but I see you, I appreciate you, and nonetheless you move forward.
Correct. And I appreciate you, and hey, whatever wrong you did, no problem, we all have our circumstances. I forgive you for that. Is a love.
Yes, and it's because it's so amazing, because again, how we define mistake. We keep calling things mistakes, but it's actually learning experiences. When we say mistake, we shut it down from the potentiality of what it could bring us and what we can learn from, and how we can grow and how we can evolve as a person, or even our environment and the people who, I learn a lot from my clients. I learn a lot from, I try to learn as much as possible so I don't go through it, but some things you have to go through because it's a more in-depth experience.
Yes.
But we call too many things mistakes when it's actually a learning experience. It's something that is divinely orchestrated to take you higher, because I can tell you something, Michelle, and I know for you for sure as well. I have had experiences that, really deep things throughout my life that I'm grateful for now. Back then when I had the experience, it wasn't in that energy of gratitude, but I'm grateful for it now, because I've had clients that I was able to see them face to face or on Skype and say, I understand, because I'm speaking from compassion, because I've been there. Right. I've gone through it. So then that's another meaning. Ever go to think that maybe God is preparing you to help so many other people who that experience you call a mistake.
Always.
Like for instance, a man who was once a womanizer. Let's look at it like that.
Yes.
Maybe God is preparing him for, if he takes the challenge, and transform himself and sit in the heart of God and be in the presence of God, maybe God is giving him an opportunity to be able to help other people who are womanizers or who may go into womanizing before it even happens.
Yes.
So it's like the opportunity, the potentiality this thing presents for us.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What you're saying is so potent, Narda. You know, I think for me, I did several sessions with Narda. I love Narda. She is a sweetheart. And one thing that you said, which stood out for me, when we did one of our sessions, you said, you're the easiest person to work on. Because I'm literally like, immediately go, you know?
Divine allowance.
Yes. There's another friend of mine, Natalie, who has a spa. And she says, Michelle, you're the easiest person to massage because normally people have tension, you have none. As you get on the table, you're like, and I always say, I think I went through so many things in life that it gave me this ability to let go. And I realized, hey, that's the key. And I try to wake other people up and say, no matter what happens, just give thanks. Hey, give thanks. You know, like when I was in the explosion, I immediately started thanking. When I was in the car accident, there was thankfulness, you know, and it's about staying in that consistent state of gratitude. You know, you get a job, thanks. The job gone, thanks. Yes. Because if all things work for your greater good, then you give thanks for it all. You know, and I want to add to what you would have said in terms of the thinking, the speaking, and the doing and feeling. I want to add writing, because that's another thing that
great tool.
Write. Moses had to write. This one had write. Everybody was writing. You look at Proverbs, and it's amazing how many times God instruction to us would be write. You know, so I think that is also a very powerful thing. And that's something else that woke me up.
Yes, I agree.
The power of words. It was looking at my writing and looking back and realize I was able to manifest a lot of these things, and I can track it now because guess what? I wrote it down. So all my poetry, before I was doing it unconsciously. But now that I understand it, it's done with purpose. And I do it consciously now, but before, unconsciously, all of my poetry, if I started writing because of an experience that may have been a bother to my mind, heart, or soul, then what I would have done, I would have always ended on a positive note and speak into that situation, speak to that situation. And I realized that was very important. And even before the book Soulspection came about, when persons ask me about what I do, I always used to say, you know, well, poetry, but my poetry is like soulspection. What is soulspection? I'll be like, well, it's the art of introspection and retrospection. It's looking within and looking without. And then as you continue to develop and you look at various principles and you realize, hey, there is a principle like this. There is a law with regards to this. So you do things unconsciously, and then when you're conscious, you do it again and again and again.
And I have to be, like, I have to say, I have evidence of that for myself. Like 10 years ago, I was going hardcore into writing, like gratitude. I'm happy and grateful that this happened. And getting into the finished work of Christ, like the energy of like, it's already done. And feeling, because I had this strong feeling like God is opening up some doorways for me. God is doing some things for me. And I had to bring it out onto paper and keep writing it and watching it and feeling the vibration of it. So I'm a firm believer of that. And it's like, actually, you reminded me, I need to go back to that a little more. Let me say the flip side to that.
Yes.
One of my clients had told me, shared this with me a few years ago. Her sister had died out of cancer. So cancer, really the meaning of it is suppressed emotions, right? Or anger or that kind of thing.
Oh, definitely.
She used to, yes. And she used to write, but she used to write angry things. She used to, every day in her journal, how this person did her this and what vibration was she building? She was building the vibration of anger, the vibration of something negative, of low vibration.
Right.
So she was feeding that. So she was feeding that illness within herself. When she died, they found journals upon journals in her house. They had to clear out her house, right? So it's like writing has a profound ability to get you into a vibration. You're using your imagination, you're feeling the energy of it, you're writing it out. And it's so amazing. I can tell you, it worked for me in some really big things in my life. But great doorways open up for me by me writing, I'm happy and grateful, and it's being open to it. Like one of the things was actually meeting and working with Dr. Michael Beckwith. I wrote it out and I just forget it. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And wrote it out and let it go. And I didn't have to write and keep feeding it and feel like I have to push. It's almost something like if you write and you want to build a vibration of something, remember part of it you have to let it go, like a balloon.
You let it go. Right? And,
yes.
And let God is going to happen.
Yes.
You don't even need to think of the steps that you're going to take to get there. You just, it's done. Right. It's just going to happen.
Exactly, because I tell people,
yeah,
it's like a balloon. It's the thing that you're desiring, and the string is if you keep pulling and tugging at it. When is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? Why is it? You don't let it go to go happen. You don't let it release into the universe, and for God creates such a hoop to like make it happen in an even bigger way that you can conceive or you can think about. So writing, Michelle, that you should do a course on that. You should teach a course on that, like manifestation writing, because you are definitely a writer. Like seriously, I'm not joking. Yeah. Maybe that's intuitive. Yes.
You know,
yeah, definitely.
If it's one thing, I think a lot of persons
I agree with you.
Thank me for is always, Michelle, you really told me to write things down, and I wrote it down, and this happened, and I've just seen it time and time again. Even I wonder if I have it anywhere around there. It's probably in the back. But my husband Omari was very instrumental in showing me, look, you wrote this when we weren't even married yet. And here now, in what I wrote, a married man, had children with the man, built house with the man already, you know. And so be it. He's like, look,
I love it.
Yeah, no. And I didn't just write it, I put it on a plaque. And he was like, yo, even before these things happened, look, you spoke about our children here, the house here. Matter of fact, the house that I live in, and my friend Sasha, who is on, who would probably remember my art SBA. For art, I built a house that looks very much like what I live in.
Wow.
It was a blue house, and I did the windows in a certain way. And my mom, she was like, wow, look, you really more or less built your house from when you were a teenager. You know, but all these things that happen, even the job that I have now, I was passing by that building. And I told my husband, I was like, I want to work there. I'm going to work there. Next thing you know, my friend who's working there called to let me know she's leaving. I said, would you have a problem if I apply? She's like, no. Then I saw on the internet the job. So your girl was like, sends
wow.
Gets to the interview. Guess who I bounced up at the interview? I actually bounced up at the interview. Someone who was in my childhood used to tease me, but I would never allow that to bother me, you know? And I was actually so proud of those names he used to tease me with. I was like, you don't remember me? Bucky O'Hare, hey, Hot Belly, sticking out my belly, all kinds of things like, yo!
Hot Belly.
Even in radio, when I started to do sales in radio, being a broadcaster, I didn't just want to know about the art on air. I wanted to know about that and everything in between, on top of, below of, all aspects of it. So I did radio sales, newscasting, production, building beats, DJing, every single thing you can think about connected to my craft. I did, you know? And in doing radio sales, every time I passed a billboard and I'm driving in my vehicle, I would start with the ad and I'll be like, just giving one example, I don't want to call the company's name, but I would like say the name of the company and I'll be like, so. And then I'll say their tagline and then I'll develop an ad in my mind and I'm saying that ad. And when I get back, I might even script an ad. And before the end of the week, I will have that ad. Someone will just call me up and be like,
wow,
Michelle, I have so client, they want you to do so ad. And I didn't realize that until some time after, you know? So there is
Wow.
importance, and what you're saying is the truth, Narda. Is the truth. You know? Think it, act it, you will become it. Right thoughts, right words,
I feel it.
right
Yes.
actions, and you have to feel it. You know? Have to feel it.
Definitely. Definitely. My gosh, it's so amazing. So you just confirmed that you should teach a seminar or a workshop on this.
Thank you, my darling.
You're most welcome.
Unwavering faith. You know,
Oh,
all of that is part of it. And from
amazing, yes.
from forgiveness to
Mhm.
then appreciating our ancestors,
Yes.
understanding those blockages we need to get rid of, talking about soulspection, you know, the introspection, the retrospection, you know, looking back at things, but looking at it with gratitude, looking within on things,
Yes.
looking at it with gratitude. With everything you look at it with gratitude. You know, it was in Psalms when David was talking to God. I can't remember which one of the Psalms, but he said to you, night and day are the same. We see night and we see darkness.
Yeah.
And think of darkness as evil. But when David was talking to God, he was reminding that night and day are the same with you. Dark and light
There's
are
purpose.
the same with you. Yeah, there's purpose
Yeah.
in all things. And sometimes things are allowed because it's getting you to a step that you can't see just
Definitely. And I'm a big believer in that, because again, what we were saying a little while ago is that you can milk it. It can take you higher. It can get you more expanded, expand your heart some more, drive you closer to the presence of God, like really being the presence, being love, being light, being divine, being Christ-like, being. So it's really, instead of sitting down and crying over something and like beating yourself over the head, why did I go through this? Or why did I allow myself to be in a relationship when I was seeing the signs of certain things? You know, how can you now use it? How can you now, what you can learn from, what kind of perspective can you bring, and really milk it? Because dark and light have purpose. There's great purpose, and I do believe the dark can push you further. And I do hope people are getting what you're saying in terms of the dark. I'm not saying like become the dark. I'm saying be the light in the dark.
Be the light in the dark. That's it. Right. There was some phrase that I said recently, and I just remembered as a child I was scared of the dark, you know, and it was because sometimes I believe I was seeing certain things. So I was scared of the dark. You know, you'd hear something, think you see something. And one thing I reflected on in doing my personal soulspection, it was, you know, there was one time I was afraid of the dark, but when I understood that I was light, now the dark is scared of me.
Right. And it takes light to drive out darkness. You know, who said that? There's a quote by somebody. Only light can drive out darkness.
I think that is Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay, that's your family. Family. Yeah, so it's like, it's amazing. Darkness cannot drive out light. And look at that. It's so amazing as being the light and the beingness. And I just had to touch on this a little bit because, you know, something I talk to a lot of my clients about, and when, you know, stepping in the mode of teaching is like being Christ-like, you know, like we talk about the, as we're moving in unwavering faith, is being the presence of God, being love. Not just the word love, and being love being Christ. You know what I mean? The emotions of it, the mannerism, and not doing it in a fake way. Just whatever is blocking you from being that is what you need to work on. If it's like distrust, if it's like dishonesty, or whatever aspects of yourself, you have a wall in your heart. There's such a thing as a heart wall, by the way, where you have built up protection enough to, you don't want certain things in because you have gone through enough, or you observe your parents have had bad relationships and you kind of put a block in, like so it's like working on those things to make your heart more open to receive, because you think you're shutting down just relationship. You're shutting down the presence and the expression of God coming through you and God flowing through you out into the world. So, you know, for some reason I had to go there.
No, I am happy you went there, because what it brings to light as well. I remember someone saying to me, because I'm often described of having a bleeding heart, and people see it like it's such a bad thing, and they don't realize that's such a huge blessing. There's so many people who, as you said, developed heart walls. And that person said to me, you had to learn to guard your heart. But people are very, very, very misunderstanding of what it means to guard your heart.
Yeah.
To guard your heart, it means that in understanding your light, you are not allowing your heart to be infiltrated by the things of this world and to then become cold and become hard. It's the ability to be strong, but yet still be so soft. You know, sometimes we take ourselves too seriously, other people too seriously, life too seriously. And at the same point in time, I'm not saying all of this to then say, allow people to have you in the position of victim. But no, we must choose to be victors. For example, in any working environment or in any place, I don't have a problem, like some may have, of standing up for what I believe is right. Because you see, at the end of the day, I sleep well and I have to ensure that I maintain that ability to sleep well. And that means I have to do well and I have to be guided by my internal guidance. Not because you want to hold on to something of a material nature. You have to be able to let it all go. And in being able to let it all go, you open up your hands and you're able to receive so much more. But from the time you close your hands, things can't go in. And what you don't realize, what you think you're holding on to, it's like sand in your hand. It's flowing all out and you're holding on less. So we really have to be able to let go. Just let go. You know, and not this way, because then you can't hold nothing.
And you know, something you said that I have to, you know, so oftentimes we say somebody make us feel a certain way. Somebody, nobody can make it. Everything is a choice. Everything is a choice. Did you hand over your power to that situation, that person, that thing? So it's nothing. And again, is really stepping into our power, opposed to like giving away certain things, knowingly or unknowingly. So then, therefore, you can project it outwards. No, bring back the power to yourself. No one or nothing has the power over you. And that is even, I have to say that even people who I've worked with who have been experiencers of black magic, obia, you know, little things like that. And I say little things because in the eyes of God, that is little, that is nothing. You know, no one or nothing has the power over you. Amen. Whether you choose to you choose to say that this person have done this to you, no, you're giving your power over. Yes. So again, the gratitude, the appreciation, all the beautiful things that you have said, you know, no one or nothing has the power over you. What are you giving your focus to? What are you giving your energy? You're a perfect divine being of Christ, you know, of light, of God. You have amazing power. Amazing power within yourself. What are you choosing to focus on? What are you choosing to give your attention to? What are you focusing? And you know, I have to say this about our Trini people. And I grew up in Rio Claro. I grew up in South. So then this was life. And, you know, in the 13 years of my life, you know, hearing people, as soon as somebody did something that wasn't of integrity, somebody do be on them. The first place you go, no, Michelle, I have heard so many clients, like when I come to Trinidad and I work with people, they always say, the person do obi on my husband, is why he do this or this. No, the first place of not being accountable is to blame it on something, some low vibration or this person or that person. People are giving away their power too much to a thing. Yes. And most, you know, and another thing, sometimes nobody are doing them anything. Their own belief on what they have built for themselves. Correct. So to not be accountable. You can tell I'm very passionate about that. You're laughing like a preacher.
I am passionate about it too, because as you know, Narda, because we speak on very intimate levels. And as you know, I would never forget a person within my extended family was using our computer at home, left their Facebook up, and I am thinking I'm on my Facebook. So I'm in their inbox and bounce up a message that they're speaking to somebody else about me. Oh. And they're saying they apparently went to work obia on me. And they are saying, tell the lady what we're doing to her not working, we need to come harder.
Oh my God.
And
my gosh.
You know, I had to say to them, and they're like, listen, don't you realize when you do things like that, it's doing nothing to me, it's doing everything to you.
To yourself.
Things that you wish for another, that's what you get yourself. Because Everything is
Yes,
vibrational. Whatever you give out, that's what comes back. And as I say to
definitely.
persons, um, before I tell you what I say to persons, I want to stay on this point here. And that point that I want to make is obia, bad mind, witchcraft, black magic, all those things need your consent for it to work.
Exactly.
It's when you
Exactly.
believe that somebody
Exactly.
else doing something is working, that's when it
Yes.
can attack you. So that's when you see some persons who may not be um, of a spiritual discipline, and they would be labeled as what you would call mundane. Things like that don't affect them because already
Right.
they ain't believing in that. And the other point that I wanted to more or less delve into, it was understanding as well in all of this, that constant state of gratitude allows you to vibrate
Yes.
on a level
Yes.
such things can't.
That is higher than OBS here. It is higher. It's higher.
Correct. So you have to stay on that. And it does not mean, you see, a lot of what we deal with is what we allow ourselves to deal with. Like I always say, I know I am vibrating at a love and light level. I sweet, I nice, I good. You understand? I love people. So if something comes to me and I know that's not the energy I'm giving, I'll be like, "Pew, pew, pew." Not me, return to sender, not here.
Yes.
Send for
Right.
that.
Right. Right.
You can order it on Amazon, send back the package. I ain't paying nothing for it. You know?
And something there. It's like to add to what you were saying. The vibration of obia is so low, right? The only way it can work is if you're vibrating at the same level of that
Correct.
low frequency. So you have to arise through love and through gratitude is a number, like a big one is number one in my book in terms of raising your vibration. And you have to, and it's so amazing. Like, and you raise above, and so nothing. Obia goes so, and you go so. Like,
Yeah.
it can't touch you. Your focus and your attention is not on it. And
Yeah.
the more you focus on something, you cause it to expand. And then in the energy of like the more resistance you put on something, you expand it. And it's as you know, one of the things in terms of my spiritual giftings and work is that I see both dark and light. I see the angelic, I see angels, and I see demonic. And I would say Trinidad have been a major source of my training in terms of practicing it, in terms of being able to walk into a place and see demonic and light, and see certain things where and at times it will tell you where it came from. And again, as you say, return to sender. I have had something that I experience. Sometimes I feel enough to know when there's certain things in my energy, like, okay, it's around. And it's something somebody might be just thinking about you. It doesn't have to be the light a candle and chicken foot and whatever burning anything for you.
Bad
it can
mind.
just be yes, bad mind, right? It can be a projection. So, I've learned enough to, like, I say, I return this because hear what? Some people might be like, but sending back that bad thing. No, here's the deal.
Just acknowledging it's
It's
not
connected. It's connected to a person's lessons and learning in this life. They have to learn. So a lot of people are very sensitive. We are children of the Most High God. We have, once you're spiritually open, you are sensitive. You're able to sense and feel vibes and energy. So when you feel something in here that is foreign, that's why I can say for me, I can go to like a bar or a restaurant or something, and then I come back home and I'm feeling different energies around me. So I just let it filter off. I send it back to whoever it came from. I send it back with love and healing. And I would say, angels, Holy Spirit, go forward and, take them wherever. Because it's connected to them. What if I keep attaching it to myself? And say like, no, I can deal with this. It is not my place to deal with this. It is not mine. It doesn't belong to me. It's not my divine right to hold on to anybody's stuff. So then a lot of people think it's noble to kind of hold on to something and deal with it. No, it keeps you stuck. It keeps you dragging into the mud. It keeps you... So
I want to talk about that as well within a business environment also. There's some, especially, I call it an employee mentality. You don't have to be an employee to have an employee mentality. And matter of fact, there's some employees who don't have employee mentalities. And those are things that we need to give up. Anything that you allow to control you, they would suffer in silence. Something is happening in work and they say nothing because they want to hold on to their job and they want to ensure that they just keep things peaceful. No, that is not peace. Peace is when you are very much ensuring that you protect what is inside of you and you surround what is happening in your space, your personal space. Like, for example, I always say if it's one thing I'm not, it's a diplomat. I am not a diplomat, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people tend to treat persons based on the titles that they hold, based on how much money they believe that that individual will have, based on where they think this individual came from. Maybe if the person has a pretty face, they treat them a certain way. But as one company who had a slogan I love, people are people. Any trainee would know what I'm talking about, right? People are people. But I love that slogan because it always reminds you, very importantly, regardless of somebody's position in life, you have respect for all. But even if somebody who may have a portfolio that may be a higher one than you have, it does not mean that you allow them to not recognize that Christ within you. And I say that because would you allow somebody to disrespect a church? If you're in church and somebody cussing out, you'll be like, hello, this is the place of God. If you are in the mosque and somebody is watching somebody bad, hey, this is the mosque.
Right.
Salam. You know, if you're in a temple, you want people to treat it a certain way. But yet when it comes to us, and we are the temple.
Right, that's a big point, yes.
We okay. You understand? Talk to me anyhow, because I holy and I can take everything, and Christ bear the cross. He bear the cross.
True. Yes, it's done. It is done. It is already done. It's not waiting to happen. Yeah.
But we need to understand that our bodies are the temples of the Holy Spirit. So we need to watch what we eat. And not just what we eat with our mouth, what we eat with our eyes, with our ears, with our spirit. So like me or ain't like me, if anybody, regardless of their position, class, race, ethnicity, anything, gender, anything, approach me how I approach you. I approach you with love and light. So I have two choices. I can walk away or I can bear it all. And if I'm in a situation in which I must share space with an individual, you protect yourself in whatever way is possible. If you do what is in accordance with the laws, everything operates under a law, and we need to know the laws and act within the law, not just spiritual law, but law that's within our nation. We need to ensure that we do what is important so that we treat our temple as it must be treated. I had to put that in because
now you preach
spirituality. We believe it is Good Friday. I am the bubbly hitman.
Yeah, the bubbly, right? Yeah, I haven't heard that in a while.
I can take it all. No, part of understanding, right, that we are the temples of the Holy Spirit. Treat all with love and light, but accept too love and light for you.
Exactly.
Oh gosh. The word says love others as you love yourself. How are you loving yourself?
Self-love, it's a big one for, I think, if not the biggest in the entire world, for us all, every single human, because I've had the joy of working with so many people from different cultures and different walks of life and all these, and it's so incredible. Self-love is the number one thing that a lot of people have compromised. I grew up in an environment, in a culture as well, East Indian, as you know, where self-love is not taught. We don't, it is not taught in terms of in the culture of Trinidad and Tobago, the culture of the Caribbean, and I've met and worked with a lot of people even in the Caribbean. It's so common. We think it's only us who have gone through. Don't know, this is a universal thing. This is something the world. Number one, a lot of people do not have love of self. And they think if love of self, it have to be superficial. No, it's not that. It's not about the clothes you wear, your pretty face. It's not about how you are seen in the world, like with the human eye. It's about deeper. It's deeper, the heart and the beingness. Again, I bring back the beingness of Christ. It's the beingness of love, emanating the truth. Like if you close your eyes and if you tune into your spiritual sense and feel, not just sense, remove the five senses, and you're feeling. What energy do you feel from people? What energy do you feel? Like, I'll give you this example. I have a client of mine in California. She sent me, she makes these bath bombs and these soaps infused with healing. Like she pray over it and stuff, and it's like sea salt and all these yumminess, like lavender. And she sent me a package as a gift like about 2 weeks ago. And I felt the energy coming out. Sorry, I felt the energy coming out of the box right next to me. I felt like I was drawn to it, not pulled. How many times we are manipulated and pulled to something? A lot of people in business, they're putting a lot of energy of manipulation into stuff.
Right.
You know, even
love
and
energy,
so we.
It's not to control people.
You feel like
every time you try to
your heart expand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's something, it's sincere, it's true, it's love. You feel, and we have to, number one, open that up in ourselves so we can be able to feel that outside, right? So, and another thing, so we keep looking for the love in another person. But if you're not activating that within yourself, love of self, union with God within you, how can you find union with a true love, with a true mate, that kind of thing, and being in union with your true life purpose? So it's, and I'm not talking from no pedestal. I myself have been working on this for years, and even at there times it will pop up as you don't just diminish it. It shows up in different areas. Are you being the true representation of who you're born to be in this world? Are you reflecting that? Are you allowing your gifts to shine? Are you exhibiting your gifts? Are you all of that? So, and there's many, I don't know if I ever told you this, Michelle, like I was presented with a book deal in, I'm gonna say about 8-9 years ago with Random House with one of my former clients, a Hollywood director, his sister, and she wanted to write a book with me. And they flew me out to LA, and then I was able to be in their space for a month. And being in their space for a month, now they have a documentary, and they have had all the people, Michael Beckwith, and that's how I met Michael Beckwith, is through them. And a lot of the high names you would find in the world, I believe Deepak Chopra was in it as well. But I was able to see how they live. I was able to see how they treated their employees. I was able to sit in their film company. I was able to see how they interacted with people. And at the end of it, I was like, no, I didn't have bad anything. I didn't burn a bridge. They're still in contact.
But it's just you realize, I thank you. That is so powerful what you're saying, because very often we become a slave to a dollar, and we become a slave to opportunity without realizing we can manifest abundance, we can manifest opportunities on our own. But if it doesn't come in a right way, it wouldn't stay in a right way.
Exactly.
And I just think that is so commendable what you did, because that was a done deal. That book was going to be a bestseller. Not because of that. I mean, it's you.
Thank you. But they had a book before, and the book was a bestseller. But they tell you, I had all the human reasons why I could have done it. And I was only, I'm 36 now, so that's 8-9 years ago, 2011. You could imagine back then. And they had loved the fact that I was really young and I was already in my purpose. But to think about it, I didn't feel good at all. And I could have been a millionaire since then, you know what I mean? Yes. But really, it's not about that. It's about being the truth and authentic and the purity of heart and the purity of being. Amen. Being in capital letters, Really, and God can really flow in that.
My rule of thumb, really, like in any place, I pay attention to how persons treat not people who they may think could do something for them, but the ones that may not be able to do something for them that they believe could do something for them. Right. I watch how people treat everybody. For me to determine, is this somebody I want to chill with? Oh, no. Nah, stay away from me, I'm good. So in terms of this now, part of this leads us to unwavering faith, and I'll tell you how. Because that's an opportunity that you said goodbye to because you didn't appreciate the energy with it, because you noticed they weren't treating their staff well, and that was a concern for you. Someone else would have not cared about that because they're like, who cares how they treat them? They treated me well. Hello.
Right.
But it's deeper than that, because how somebody treats somebody else, they eventually going to treat you at some point or the other.
Right.
After they suck as much as they think they needed to suck. So in unwavering faith, let's get into that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the belief. So I have to say, a lot of people can have unwavering faith with anything, but you have to have unwavering faith in what you feel that feeling, that divine, that God created, the Holy Spirit is saying within you, this is your path, this is your purpose. Now, sometimes our path and a purpose, whether it be a small thing, a task, or something that you have to do, or be writing that book, or whether it be like you believe in your heart that God called you to be a world-class speaker, a world-class chef, or whatever. It doesn't have to be anything big, or it can be just God called you to own a restaurant, or to be, if it's a double stand, whatever it may be, and your family don't believe in it. Remember, the vision is given to you, it's not to them. If it was given to them, they would have had the belief. So you have to, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter if it's a business venture or whatever, but you feeling within your heart that it is God has given you that inkling, that nudge within yourself, that unwavering faith that, it is done now. I have a way about me. I can get very stubborn when God tells me something about myself for me, and I don't give a damn if anybody else around me believe in it. I don't care. I don't even care to share it anymore. I used to share it, and people used to express their disbelief. So I was like, oh, okay. Especially when somebody else around have had the similar opportunity, and they have had an unfavorable outcome. They would want to project what they have experienced and say that is it, that is the general, that is the end all. But I believe you manifest based on what you're feeling about something, and how much you open up to divinely unlimited. Now, when we ask for something, we ask God for even opening up our heart to be more, your heart to be more expansive, to serve God. My prayer ever since a teenager was like the prayer of Jabez, to be expand my territory. And it's not just the territory of the world and who I touch and what work I have to do in this world, but also my territory of my heart and my beingness. I've given every aspect of me to God, every aspect of God, so it's like the unwavering faith of, number one, you have to realize if it's of God, if God has placed that in your heart, or if it's your human ego. Unwavering faith with your human ego is just wasting time on an illusion. If it's you feel in your heart that God has placed this fire in your soul, the unwavering faith, and forget what anybody else's opinion is, keep it sacred for you. Keep that vision holding, that flame burning within yourself for you. Even in relationships, I think we have talked about many different aspects of life and keeping things very sacred. Because now, if you have never done something, right, and you have never ventured into something, and it's new and brand new for you, and you share it with somebody else, you're already dealing with your own limitation here. You're already dealing, I don't know if it's possible you don't need any additional. How many times we share something with somebody else, and by the fact that you're fighting up with it here already, they say, well, I don't know if that's possible, and that give you the allowance, you give yourself the human allowance to do that and done it, right? So the unwavering faith comes back to me. For me personally, I get like a rebel. I was like, if God said it to me, that is all I need to hear. And I get in it and I stay in it, and you would swear it's already done for me. Now, I do not make financial decisions based on it. And be wise. You don't go spend $10,000 in your bank account because you be wise. Some of those things will actually evoke more limiting beliefs for yourself, and limiting emotions that won't feel good. It will work against the belief, right? So you be wise in terms of what you do and how you do it, right? So you have to have wisdom. Wisdom is huge. But yeah, I get very rebellious. Like I say, God, if God alone says it to me, if the Holy Spirit, I may have it in a dream, I may have it in a feeling in my heart. Quite often I have a lot of people around me because I stay centered around a lot of spiritually aware people. I have said that over the years, that I want more people of that around me, because I want like-hearted, like-minded folks, right? So the unwavering faith, like for instance, if I trusting in God, tell me this person is meant to live a certain amount of years, like they have like 30, 40 years left in their life, and they're going through something we shared on my Facebook. Like a lot of people I asked, because a dear soul that I know was having, he had the coronavirus, and I was asking a lot of people, all those in my clientele, because I know a lot of them had near-death experiences, one was dead for 9 hours.
Came from.
Yes. So like people who have had near-death, I have a very prominent person in Trinidad who actually was in a coma for like 3 weeks. A lot of them, I was trying to evoke them to come on, but a lot of people are public figures, so they don't want to comment, and they send me messages. Okay. What would you want the family to know, how they can believe? Because this particular beautiful soul, he was in a coma, and his family was giving up. So I was like, okay, what can I share with the family if I'm given the opportunity to share it with them? So a lot of things, one included is that when a person will feel, even though they are unconscious, they feel everything, the emotions of people around them. Right. So the family had already given up, because remember, from their awareness, they don't know examples of miracles. Now, miracles are way of life. It doesn't have to be once in a lifetime. God will give you a ticket, a miracle ticket, and say, okay, that is your one ticket for life. You know, you might pull it out only when you need it. No, it's a state of being. It's a lifestyle. It's a way. So that's what I had posted on Facebook when I said, you know, anybody can share anything. Any of my clients or friends who have gone through any near-death experiences, some of them were given like a week to live, you know, and that being like 10, 15 years ago. Some of them were in quite a number of them were in a coma. One person was dead. She died for 9 hours. Now she was kidnapped, you know, and she died the morning she came back. She was awakened out of it in the night. But the thing is that she actually went back to heaven. And she had this whole experience in heaven, and God spoke to her and all of that, and she received healing. So in Unwavering Faith, coming back to it, is that the feeling of, you know, God, there's possibilities. Like, you just have the unwavering faith that it is done, it's done, it's done. So the reason I had asked that question is so I potentially share it with this beautiful soul, with his family. Only that he did die, and he had the coronavirus, and he was in a coma. And I didn't have the opportunity to potentially share it with his family because they had already given up. Now, Narda, in a situation like that, Michelle, people would say that I'm crazy, and I don't care. If God tells me that this person is going to live, and that their purpose and their path is to have a lot of life to live, I forget it. I zone out everything and everybody. Unwavering faith. God said that is all I need. And in that state, in staying in vibration, like I'm gratitude, I'm grateful, I'm being grateful for that. It's done, and God, you're amazing. I would get into humor, watch funny movies, the things that raises your vibration, that keep you
exercise, take a nice bath or
fun, yes. Anything that's fun, that is exciting, that raises your vibration. The prayer, worshiping, you know, worship, getting to the energy of worship in whatever form. If some people like Zen music, I love Hillsong. I love, you know, that's my
Hillsong.
That is
like
yes. Oh, check out Oceans. That song Oceans. I forgot what's her name. Who sang it?
And what a
you know, get into that. Yes, get into that vibe, and it doesn't matter. As I said in my work, I work from a place of love. So I have clients from all walks of life and religions and stuff, and it's so incredible. It all meets in a place of love. And so, as I said, if I were being presented with an opportunity like that, I would. Now, if God have said to me in my soul, "No, this person is their time to go," I would be like, acceptance. Now you'll have a sense of peace with that as well, wherever the divine peace comes, right? Mm-hmm. So the unwavering faith, believing that with God, anything is possible. Now, a lot of people cover cap off on that because they have never seen it done. They have never heard of it being done, but I don't care. I created it, you know? I am a person, I don't care. I do not care. God said it's possible with divine. It's possible with the Holy Spirit. It's possible. God creator. It's done. No, the same thing with you know, like your work, your books. Like I know your books are going to go through the entire world, and I know you have already had people find the book in your hand from a different country and all of that. But it's like the feeling like I know it's done. It is a calling of yours. It's not to be stuck in the Caribbean. It's a calling of yours. I believe, and so it is, and I'm giving praise and thanks for it already.
Thank you, darling. Yes, you have always told me that, and I appreciate it. And I received before I won my award, you told me, you said, "Michelle, you're going to win an award with this book." And I was like, I know. And they didn't even have that award possible. And all of a sudden, when I was ready for it, I said, "Father, Lord God, I'm ready now to win that award." And the same week, I got an email. "Hi, we have this competition. And I entered the competition. And when I was sitting down there waiting for them to tell us when you have to do this and that to get in the competition, matter of fact, the very first part of the competition was ending on my husband's birthday. The second part of the competition was ending on my daughter's birthday. The third part of the competition, matter of fact, no, the second part was my birthday. The third part was my daughter's birthday. And the final part was my son's birthday. And I was like,
wow. That's yours, it's yours.
Now, or y'all want to give me the award later? Matter of fact, the person who was having the competition, I went up to them and I was like, "Hi, I'm Michelle Borel, and I just want you to know that every date you call there, it's very significant to me, and I believe somehow I'm going to be winning this award. But okay, you take care now." You know, and I laughed at it because I was like, I won by so many miles. they had to call to say they have to double check because they didn't believe so many people voted for me. So they had to ensure it wasn't voter pardon. I don't know how I was going to get into people's laptops, but anyway. I win. And since then, they had that competition. So within myself, I chuckle and I'm there like, when they'll have the next one, when I come out with the next book and I'm going to talk to my father again. But,
oh my God.
Believe is what you achieve, you know?
Yeah. Once you feel.
Yeah.
That is the
like when my husband and I, when we were separated, my belief was, he gonna love me. You're gonna love me. I lovable and I'm ready to be loved.
Oh God, and you guys are amazing.
That's what you achieve. So
yeah. Exactly. It's such a sacred thing.
I don't know if you have a book, but in the line of work that you do, I think definitely that book. This book is a fantastic book. It's an old book, and it's Science and Health with Keys to the Scriptures. But it's quite a powerful book. She is known as the mother of Christian Science, and she speaks so much about healing. And a big part of it is, as we started off talking, understanding that it is finished, it is done. Believing that it is done. So we have to stay within that.
And something is so interesting is like it is done and we don't have to keep reminding God about it.
Correct.
Like you can, because remember when you keep like begging, I tell people you gotta pray in the energy of gratitude. It's done. Don't be in a pray in a God please, I beg, I promise. No, in your energy of begging, you will get what you want. begging drags things out. It keeps you in the energy of it's lack. Like it's not done yet.
Like you're not sure.
The energy of right, and it's like it's not gonna happen. It's that wheel that they keep turning, turning. Now, if you get in the energy of it's done, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful, I'm happy, I'm excited, I'm really appreciative, and it's done, I'm thankful, and getting the feeling as though it's already happened. No, Michelle, I must say, there are many times I've had that experience where I would write stuff out. Remember you talked about writing? I'm writing it out, and I was like, I have only written out once, or sometimes I want to build a vibration in it, so I may write it multiple times every single day, and if I'm in a period of a month or whatever, it doesn't matter, it can be a week. The key thing, it can take a day, it can take one time, it can be a week, it can be a month, but it's getting the vibration to a certain place. And let me tell you something, what is identical in terms of the feeling is what I feel or what I felt when I was writing it out to when it actually happened.
Yes.
The identical feeling, like,
you must
oh my God, and I'll be like,
on that feeling to
wow, I can, yes. So let me give you something. And I'm sharing with everybody a little piece of my business. I can remember, about three years ago. Now, I used to imagine, in my phone, notifications of payments from all over the world, of clients from all over wanting to book sessions, or I book sessions for my website. And I remember, I just okay, that's a dream, because I heard it about another life coach, another person have talked about it, in terms of visualization. I'm like, oh, but that feels good, and that'll be so amazing, until the day it happened. A YouTuber found me and she interviewed me, and because she had an experience, she did a session with me, and then she was just wanting to share me with people, that's wow. What Narda does. And then right there and then in the interview, I'm getting the notifications. I made $9,000 in one day.
Wow.
And that's the power of God. That is the power of God. I'm still waiting for another day like that, but
it's coming. Hold on, I should say it's finished.
Done. It's done.
It's done.
It's just to show you how we have the power. We have the power of doing it. We have the power of being it. And let me just, as I said, doing, it switched up in my head. God is saying, being it, being abundance. We're already abundance, but abundance is part of God. And I would say abundance is not just money, it's a feeling. It doesn't have to come through money. It can be, I've had clients gift me paintings. I have had different things that felt so abundant. I've had experiences that I can even pay for with money, and it was I felt so abundant, experiences in this world that I traveled and have different things happen. It doesn't have to be money.
What you're saying is powerful, because a lot of my travel I never paid for. A lot of my travel, it has been that I just felt, something, I'm ready to go Bahamas. Yeah, I'm going Bahamas.
Next time you say that, I'm ready to go Bahamas with Narda.
Yeah. But it's just,
But yeah, sure.
That, so girls.
Yes. Yes, we did talk about Italy, but
Yes,
I
we
can't
did.
make Italy this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, but my gosh, God, that is amazing. This unwavering faith is like getting.
Hello.
Yes, are you there?
I am right here. I was just trying to see if I can get internet from my phone.
Oh, okay. No problem. Yes, but God is amazing.
We apologize
God is
for this
so
short break in transmission. We're back. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this has been such an amazing conversation. Amazing.
But there's one thing.
Yes, Michelle went to book a ticket.
Yes. With that unwavering faith that we speak about, and as we were talking about thoughts, words, deeds, there was one morning my son woke up when he was a baby and he couldn't walk. Carried him to the hospital, and slowly within that weekend they did all sorts of tests on him, couldn't figure out what was going on, and eventually our baby could not talk. So this child that you know to be well, all of a sudden you're seeing this child unable to walk, unable to talk, and looking like this child is deteriorating before your eyes. And my husband and I, we were like, no, we do not accept that. This child is going to walk. So that unwavering faith, the word says, picking up your bed and walk. Walk without knowing. Matter of fact, I broke my 8th rib once.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
I wouldn't be able to walk. And I was like, greater is he who is within me than he who is of the world. I'm going to not just walk, I'm going to run. So I made up my mind. I was like, no, me? Not a year? No. I did more than that. I ran so much, lost that more than 30 something pounds, started to do chancellor twice a day within that time period. I just made up my mind. I was like, not walk, you see. No, that's not me. Return to sender. I did not order it on Amazon. Not me.
Not order it on Amazon. I love that. Oh my gosh. But it's so that unwavering faith within yourself. It's like it's done because who else's opinion matters? God places in your heart that feeling, that fire within yourself. That is all that matters. And it can be that you and God. But it don't really do. They say like we're 2 or 3 gathered, that's the presence of God, but it's like you and God. So that is you believe that's you and God. So it's like, but I know we put a lot of humor to this, but it's true. It's under all seriousness. It's amazing, the unwavering faith. And it's like, I put a challenge out to everybody because I'm feeling that message coming into my heart right now. Yes. As I challenge it out for myself. Where in our lives that we have been falling short and we have not believing in our ability to present and or express our souls throughout our human selves, like where in our life, how, what is holding that back? What is it? A childhood trauma? If it's somebody said something to you, a primary school teacher said something mean, someone who misunderstood you in terms of your work environment, whether it be your parent, your mother, somebody, it doesn't commit to find all the things that's blocking that and denounce it, let it go. Don't give it any further presence or power. An easy way to find that out is like when you're having a discussion with somebody, when you're having a conversation and the person asks you something, what's the first set of words you start to rattle? Oh, well, my ex did it, my mother did it, my father did it. And so that is the automatic response that you have. That is what your human self rattles off. So then that shows, okay, I'm giving myself coming from not victim in a obvious way, but underlying energy of victimhood. and your reasoning for that, because on one end, God is wanting to have you express yourself in a fullest form. On the other end is there's the things that is holding it back, like what you're giving. And it's for all of us. I tell my clients this as plain as day. Don't think I'm on no pedestal. Don't ever put me on a pedestal, because some people like to call me a guru and mentor, a teacher. It's like we all in this together. One thing for me is that, and the same thing for you, Michelle, is the fact that we may have certain tools in our life and certain know-how to do things that may have shorten the process, and another person might not know how, and that's why we do things like this, and we have people can commune with us, and we be able to share certain things with people, and there's ways on how to deal with it. Yes. You don't have to suffer yourself through your entire life with something that happened to you when you were 15 or when you were 30, or something other people may have put more attention in it, and you, because the person was an authority figure, have said what your father have said. What is whose voice or whose voices are you hearing in the background when you're trying to excel? The voice, or it could be your father. And be very honest with yourself and sit with yourself in silence and be quiet. And this is the time, to be honest, this coronavirus have been a blessing for me. The lockdown period have been a huge blessing. It's like, how do you want to take it? I am not the same person that when 2 months ago. I'm such a different individual. I have seen that with so many people as well, who have taken the opportunity to go deeper within themselves and use this period of pause for something incredible, like to go dive into things that they didn't have the typical time to dive into, like the healing tools and techniques. But the challenge is definitely, who do you want to be? Who do you feel? Put aside the voices of other people, put aside the economy, put aside the government, put aside all of that, the limitations that you put, and who do you really want to be? Who do you really believe that you're called to be? And then what is holding you back? Okay, your belief, like I know money, I need money to do this, I don't have this, I don't have a visa, all these different things that you may have put. And then like work on go deeper than that. It's like layers of an onion. Go deeper into it. Peel back the layers. Like keep looking at it. Cry. Be angry. Feel the feeling. Don't suppress it. Feel it. And then forgive yourself and forgive others and all of that, and go deeper and deeper and deeper. The key is to find the things that have been blocking you. Let us say, getting to love is not, and I forget again who was misquoting this thing from, but I think it's Rumi, is finding all the things that's blocking you from love. And that is what, to become that pure vessel, to be the expression of love. Remember, God is expressing itself through us, and what is holding us back, and we all have it. I'm not saying that I don't. I too go through it, and I'm like, I'm my biggest life coach, and every day is a day of it. 24/7 I pay attention to my thoughts. I pay attention to different things. I'm always diving deeper into myself, and this has been predominantly the past 10 years. And it don't have to be 10 years. You can have done this in 5 months or 6 months and get you to take a quantum leap into things for yourself. But that's a big challenge for us, and I want to put that out to everybody. And if even the person who might be watching this or listening to this in the recording, like really, it's time, especially after this pandemic, it's time to really be the best versions of ourselves and how we were created to be, and how God really called us to be in whatever we are meant to express. Now you find years ago, a lot of people think that is something to compromise with your expression, how your life purpose, your life path. That is something. No, I will have kids to raise, or I have to put food on the table, whatever. You're not digging deeper. You're not going deeper within yourself. You're settling for less. Your prime purpose is, yes, you have kids, but what are you teaching them by settling for less? Your prime purpose is doing that digging and going deeper within yourself, and to be that expression. It may not be a big purpose like being a world-class speaker or something, or an author. It can be something as you influence your community. It can be the mama in the community. Breads, like whatever it may be, but you infusing that bread with divine, with love, with God-given passion and purpose. So it's like that's the biggest thing. A lot of people fall short because they give themselves human reasons of why they can't, and because society has trained us.
That is important, what you're saying. Like, for example, I was speaking to a lady some time ago, years ago, and she expressed to me that she wanted to do salads as a form of making money, because she's so passionate about salad, and she wanted to do deliveries. So I was like, well, what's stopping you? Well, I have the kids. And I was like, well, carry them with you.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no, we don't have time for that because I have the kids. And I decided, like, as I like to do my husband right now, or in general, I do people this, which is, this is me walking away, because I'm not going to go into any kind of conflict or argument or try to tell somebody, hey, you gotta do it, you could do it. No, no, no. This is me walking away. Because the understanding is, let me tell you something. With 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, and now 4 kids, nothing going to stop me from my purpose. Because it's the understanding that they should just further fuel and motivate that purpose.
Yes.
Because you have a responsibility to reach your purpose. Because many times, someone else's purpose is tied to ours. And I think of just me writing my book and the many persons that were able to write books because they felt inspired. Well, if Michelle could do it, I could do it too. Well, I always thought I wanted to. And then I spoke to Michelle and Michelle was there like, nah, come on, write that book. Let's do that. So if I didn't follow my purpose, there's some who may not have had the opportunity to follow theirs. Sometimes another purpose is tied on to our own. And it's a sin to not pay attention to that voice within. Like my daughter, for example, said something very powerful to me when she was just about 8. Now she's 14. And she said, Mommy, when I grew up in life, matter of fact, I think she was even younger than 8. She said, Mommy, when I grew up in life, I know I can be everything and anything that I want to. Because I see you being everything and anything that you want to be. So here's what I want to be. I want to be a hairdresser. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. I would also like to do dancing. And I really think I could be a triple threat and seeing that I could sing and I could dance. I could put all of that together and I will be a triple threat when it comes to me performing. I said, well, you go girl, you can do all those things and more. Whatever you put your mind to, you can achieve. Well, I'm a celebrity, can't be a doctor and a lawyer. Why? Who made that rule? There's no rule with that. Right. So our children sometimes and it was a phrase that I absolutely hated when I became a mother. People, they would see you when you have your first child and they're like, well, you know what I mean? Your child, your life going now, you make child. That's it for your life, Your life is no longer yours again. Are you crazy? That means my life has so much more purpose. I gave birth to a being. That means I could do so much more than I probably thought possible before this, And every time I'm looking to do something, I always think of, hey, I have these little sets of eyes looking at me and I have to do better. I have to be better. For myself, yes, but too for them, so that what you said is so powerful because I've heard so many parents and so many people that think having children is a death sentence. Are you crazy? No.
Yeah. And put that pressure and that energy on the child or the children. What kind of burden are you placing energetically on people, situations, and things, especially your kids and children learn what they live. They learn what they live. And another thing, and it's like argue for your limitations and they should be yours. Whatever you fight for, it's yours.
Yep.
You're fighting for your limitations, it's yours.
Correct. Another parent recently explained to me she was going to school and she had to stop school because of the children. I was like, are you crazy?
That was a choice.
No self, you're supposed to go to school. And I said to her, I said, listen, when I was going to school, I had 2 children and was pregnant, and I would just call the lecturer in advance, hi, I don't have anyone to keep my children today. Is it okay if I bring them? And my children will be right there. We'll be at the back of the class. And that would be the one class I'll pay the most attention to because they have no way I can tell my children pay attention in school and I ain't paying attention. So I will be like, so we just need to embrace it and really stay in that state of thankfulness and gratitude.
And sometimes it's getting creative too, like seeing things outside of the box. Like in terms of like, instead of shutting down your dream and your purpose, like getting creative, like, okay, what perspective is God, and posing questions out to God, like, what are you wanting me to see here that I'm not seeing? If only if I see it, I would have a bigger, more expansive view and understanding of it, and it will open up even something more abundant and something more beautiful for me. So often, no, we don't do those things, and it's not like to say either or. It can be both, but in a more creative manner.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So that question was a lot of soul exploration, and I thank you so much for that. That challenge, is definitely
Yes.
one that I accept, and I hope everyone else accepts it too today. And is there anything else you wanted to go deeper on with soul exploration, or should
Oh
we
my
open the
God.
forum up now for questions? What would you?
Yes. Open it up. Yeah, you can open it up. Yeah.
All right, so at this time, if anyone has any questions, and with that, I also say a big thank you, Narda, for sharing with us today. And I mean, I love all of our discussions. This one is just another one to add to my treasure chest where I keep everything, Narda, And also, next week, we have Miss Natalie Harris. She is the owner of Glorious Bodies, Glorious Minds. And I thought that would be fit because we dealt with things on the inside and we started off dealing with things on the outside when we started Brand New, but we went on all layers of it. And now, with all that we have done within these 6 weeks, I want us to then go into thinking of possibly opening our own businesses, thinking of watering whatever ideas that we have. So we have Miss Natalie Harris. She is the owner of Glorious Bodies, Glorious Minds, and she will join us next week for BY7, Brand New 7. I'm Michelle Borel. Thank you so much for having joined us inside Brand New 6 as we continued to work on developing your personal brand. Know that it's not just about marketing, it's also about working yourself on the inside out. So we say a special and warm thank you to Narda Mohammed, who's a life and soul coach. We appreciate all the wisdom and knowledge that she had to share with us as we worked on things from a heart and soul perspective today inside Brand New. So with that, have a great one. Remember, best you today and even better you tomorrow. I'm Michelle Borel. Love and light always. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.